What is going on, my dudes? Tasha here, back again with another Genshin Impact video, and today we are going to be talking about the newest character that has come out, and we are going to talk about how to build her and how to make you successful with her, and that's right, we are talking about Nilou. Now, Nilou is a very interesting character with her abilities, and we're going to talk about those as we go through. It's probably going to be the first thing we talk about, but she's very interesting, and a lot of people talked about how Bloom probably wouldn't be that good, and I'm here to tell you it's pretty good. I'm enjoying Bloom personally, so let's go ahead and get right into it. So, as you can see right here, we have Nilou pulled up. Fantastic character, a lot of fun. Hydra one-handed sword user. And yeah, I've been having a blast with her. My talents with her is 686, but don't be confused. Honestly, you don't need to do 686. I think that you could actually go and prioritize the skill to be, like, obviously higher, like what I got right here. You could even put the burst just as high. But in all honesty, like, you don't need to worry too much about, you know, anything being the same, you know, when it comes to the talents. I went ahead and put the skill above because the skill is what you're mainly going to be using, which makes a lot of sense because obviously the skill is fantastic. So let's go ahead and dive into the abilities. So obviously we already know her normal attacks. Her skill enters the pirouette state, dealing hydro damage to nearby opponents based on Nilou's max HP. So she scales on HP, which is going to be what we need to focus on later on with our artifacts and our sword. While she is in the pirouette state, Nilou's normal attacks and elemental skill will cause her to enter the sword stance and whirling step stances respectively, causing damage she deals to be converted to hydro damage that cannot be overridden, and that is considered elemental skill damage. In these stances, Nilou's third dance step will end pirouette and has the following effects based on the type of said dance steps. Swords Dance unleashes a luminous illusion that deals hydro damage to opponents it touches and grants Nilou the Lunar Prayer effect. This effect converts Nilou's normal attacks into Swords Dance techniques, and her final hit will unleash a luminous illusion. Whirling Steps. Nilou unleashes a whirling water wheel that deals AoE hydro damage and creates a tranquility aura. That follows your active character around and applies wet to opponents within its AoE. And what it's talking about really is when you enter this stance, you do 1, 2, and then if you do the third one as your actual like skill proc again, you get this aura and it applies wet to opponents. And honestly, it's not too bad, but I honestly wouldn't use this unless you're going to use her more, I guess, just as application. I use more so this one where it's 1, 2, and 3, and so you keep that hydro damage and you're going to keep applying it. And there's a reason why, because as you can see on my team, I'm using 2 Dendro characters and Kokomi. So I'm going to have Kokomi always apply the wet with her E, plus you have the Dendro Traveler and Kale as a Dendro character to be able to function as those applicators. Now, with Nilou's burst, begins the dance of faraway dreams and springs that here, causing a lotus of distant waters to bloom, dealing AoE hydro damage based on Nilou's max HP, and applying that lingering Aeon effect to the opponent's hit. After an interval, opponents affected by lingering Aeon will take hydro damage. This honestly is not the big deal of Nilou. Nilou's thing is going to be her skill, and I think that's going to be what's going to apply here when you're thinking of building Nilou. Now, let's go ahead and talk about her artifacts. Now, you could go a multitude of different ways. The 2 best, or actually the 3 best sets that I could really find is 1, I like using 4-piece Gilded because I think it's fantastic. The Elemental Mastery and the Elemental Reaction for her is going to be perfect because she does help out with Elemental Mastery on the team. Now, you can, however, in exchange for this, you can run a 2-piece Tenacity, 2-piece Gilded, or a 2-piece Tenacity, 2-piece Wanderers. The reason being is that you'll still get the 80 Elemental Mastery off of either 2-piece Gilded or 2-piece Wanderers, while also getting that bonus HP from Tenacity. Those are not bad sets. I just chose the Gilded set because, honestly, you know, I had the set ready to go. Big shout out to Mika for farming. I really appreciate it. Now, let's go ahead and talk about the overall stats. What you want to focus on is HP, then ER, then EM. You don't need to focus on crit rate or crit damage for Nilou. Those are not something that you need to worry about. So again, your main focuses are HP percentage, ER, and EM. So as you can see, this piece did really, really well when it came to HP and EM. Not so good on the ER. And then this set, like, I really had no other gilded feather to use, so I was kind of stuck with this one for the time being. However, we did get 2 rolls into HP percentage, so I'm pretty happy about that. On the sands, you want to make sure that your main stat is HP percentage, followed by ER, EM, and then whatever you want to put on afterwards. Obviously, as you can see, this set, or this piece, gave me a lot of HP flat and ER, so I was pretty excited about that. Your goblet HP percentage should be your main focus because, again, you're wanting to get Nilou's HP as high as possible. Now, this set, again, rolled really well except for the attack percentage, so I'll deal with it. And then, of course, your circlet, again, HP percentage. So long as you have ER, EM, and HP, you should be good to go. This one rolled everything into anything other than crit, so I was very happy about that. Because like I said, you're not going to focus on crit rate and crit damage for her. Your main focus is that in the team that I'm going to be showing you is to focus on Hyper Bloom. Now, Hyper Bloom is the reaction between Hydro and Dendro. So you want to make sure to definitely use that because I think that's her best team. The weapon I am using is the Iron Sting for the Elemental Mastery. Now, again, I stated this in my TikTok that you could use Favonius Sword. However, I am using this just to get that Elemental Mastery up for the reactions, and it's perfectly fine. The other weapons that you could use are your 5-star choices, Kajna Suit, Jade Cutter, and Freedom Sworn. Your 4 stars, Xiphos Moonlight, which just came out, Iron Sting, which I'm using right now, and Favonius Sword. Those all work perfectly fine, and you'll do definitely like a perfect amount. Now, the main thing that you see here is that my focus was HP. I have 54,000 HP on my Nilou. That is the highest amount of HP I've had on a character. And as you can see, the crit rate, crit damage, not important. It's definitely not important. For your ER, you want it between 120 to 145%. And the reason being is because you're going to want to get your burst off while also making sure that you can get your skill going. The more that you're doing with Nilou, the better. That is the most important thing. So, with that in mind, we got her, we're ready to go, and I'm going to show you guys a couple of things that really, really work, and we're going to do it in this domain. And the reason why I'm using the domain is because there's going to be multiple enemies, and you're going to be seeing a lot of conversion. I've already used all of my stuffy stuff, so let's go. Now, we go in. My main thing is getting the Dendro off, getting the Dendro actually working, and so then that way I can use the Hyper Bloom strat with Nilou. So let's go ahead. We're going to get the Dendro off really quick. So we got these 3. I got a Favonius on my Traveler so I can use her kind of like a battery. Oh, stop, stop, stop. Now, as you can see, I'm getting my butt kicked pretty bad. So we're going to do this. There we go. We should be able to get... There we go. That's what I wanted. All right. So, we're going to do this. We're going to get this off, and then we're going to go to town. Now, as you can see, like the damage that you're seeing with the blooms, you're going to do damage to yourself as well. However, you're still going to do just fine with not having to worry about actually getting like too much damage because your Nilou is going to be doing a lot of damage on her own. And as you can see, we took care of 2 of those guys, no problem. Now, I'm not saying that it's the most perfect build because, you know, I still have things that I do wrong with this build. I don't think I dodge enough, and I'm way too okay with just using the regular sword stance. There's plenty of ways that you could work Nilou and do perfectly fine. However, this team has been fantastic and has been a lot of fun in general when it comes to, you know, actually playing, you know, Genshin. And I think that Hyper Bloom is actually one of those reactions that a lot of people are skeptical about because you do damage to yourself, but Nilou is the perfect counter to that. And then, of course, with Nahida coming soon and all the stuff that Nahida is going to be providing for the team, it's going to be crazy. I can't wait to try Nilou with Nahida to see how that's going to play out. But honestly, with Dendro Traveler and Kale, it's fantastic. I honestly want to try it out with Tighnari as well. I haven't really thought about it until just now. But with Tighnari being DPS and then Nilou being DPS, I mean, you could do something alongside with Tighnari's burst and then go into Nilou's sword stance. But again, I think that this team right now, the Nilou Traveler with the Dendro then of course Kale and either Kokomi, or you could even run Barbara as well. And I think that's what's really cool is that you could run Barbara on this team and be perfectly fine. But I think that this team is fantastic. But let me know in the comments down below what you guys think. I think Nilou is a fantastic character. I honestly am very surprised with how Hyper Bloom has worked, and I can't say anything bad about it except for it does damage to you. But you could offset that with a healer like Kokomi or Barbara. So you have plenty of options. Again, guys, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to entertain you. We will be back again with another Genshin Impact video later this week. As always, stay safe out there, y'all, and we'll catch you guys in the next video.